Hey boys and girls, it's Miss Dorsey, and this week we're going to be talking about fractions. We're going to learn about equal parts and halves and fourths, and we're also going to be talking about partitioning rectangles and making them into rows and columns with equal parts. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do today is we're going to go over some vocabulary words. Our first word is share. Share, when we split into equal parts or groups. So if we had Reese cups and we wanted to share them equally between our 3 friends, and we had 12, we would get each person 4 Reese cups, like in this picture. The next word is part, which is one piece of a whole. So think about one piece of the whole. Imagine if you had a pizza and you took one slice, you took a part of the pizza. The next word is fraction. It's a number that expresses equal parts of a whole object or a set of objects. And we're going to learn a lot about fractions this week. I know that you didn't do a lot with fractions in first grade, so we're going to talk a lot about them. Okay, the next word is halves. Halves is when it's divided into 2 equal parts. Think about if you had a cookie and you said you broke it in half. That means you broke it into 2 parts, 2 equal parts. The next word is fourths, divided into 4 equal parts. Okay, it'd be like if you took that cookie and you broke it in half and then you broke each piece in half, you would end up with 4 pieces. So it would have been like you took that cookie, like this picture, and you broke it into 4 pieces. Okay, our next word is partition. That's to separate into rows and columns. We're going to talk about rectangles and partitioning them this week. The next word is row. A row goes across. A row goes from side to side, like this picture. And the last word is column. A column goes up and down, like this picture. I always like to give my boys and girls an example around the school of those big white columns near the lunchroom and the playgrounds. If you've been at CCPS, you know these columns and you've seen them, and they go from the floor to the ceiling, up and down. So columns. Okay, boys and girls, so that is our vocabulary words for the week. We're going to review those every day this week. Okay, now we are going to look at some parts or some fractions. Sorry. Okay, so if I have this red square, I would say I have one whole. It is one whole square. Okay. Now, if I took that one whole square and I cut it in half like this, I would now say I have a half. 1/2 and 1/2 makes a whole. Okay, and this is a fraction. 1 out of 2. I have 2 total pieces. 2 total pieces. And when I put them together, I have a whole. So if I take this half, I have 1/2. If I take this half, I have 1/2. 1/2, 1/2. Okay. And then the next, I divided it into 2s. So if I took that whole square and I divided it into 3 equal pieces, I would have thirds. 1, 2, 3. I would have thirds. 1/3. I took that same whole square and I've divided it into 3 pieces. 1, 2, 3. So this one piece is 1 out of 3, so it's 1/3. Okay. Well, what if I took that same whole rectangle or square, sorry, it was a square, not a rectangle, and I divided it into 4 pieces? I would say I have 1/4. That's 1 2, 3, 4. Okay, I have now divided it into 4 pieces. So I would say I have 1/4. Okay, so that's fourths. The 1 whole divided into 4 pieces. Okay, now when you look at a fraction, it looks like this. If we're deciding on how to write fractions. Well, fractions are not hard. The first thing you have to do is you have to find out the total number of pieces. Okay, so if I look at this square, I'm going to find out my total number of pieces. And when you write a fraction, you put a line, and then the bottom number, the denominator is what we're going to call our bottom number, is the total number of pieces. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 pieces. So I'm going to put that on the bottom as my denominator. Okay, and my fraction that they want us to come up with, it says, what fraction of the shape is shaded? So now I'm going to see how many pieces are shaded in. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put that number on the top. That's my numerator. Okay, so if I was going to read this, I would say 3/4 of the shape is shaded because 3 out of 4 are shaded. Okay, let's look at one more. Okay, fractions can also be of a set of something. Okay, so this is a set of smiley faces, and I'm going to decide what fraction of the faces are smiling. Well, just like before, I'm going to draw my line, and I'm going to decide first how many faces do I have in all, and that's going to be my bottom number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 12 total faces. And they want to know what fraction of the faces are smiling. So now I'm going to go count my smiling faces. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 faces smiling. So 7 goes on top. So 7 out of 12 of my faces are smiling. So my fraction will be 7/12 of the faces are smiling. Okay, boys and girls? Now, the other thing we're going to talk about this week is partitioning rectangles into rows and columns. So, remember, a rectangle is a shape with 2 short sides and 2 long sides. Okay? Now, if I want to separate this into rows, remember your vocabulary word said that rows go across from side to side. So I'm going to draw a line from side to side. Now I have made 1, 2 rows from side to side. Now, to make columns, remember we said columns go up and down, I'm going to draw lines up and down. 1, 2, 3. Drawn 3 lines. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. Okay? So that's how we're going to partition rectangles into rows going across and columns going up and down. Okay, boys and girls? We're going to do more practice with this week. We're going to do some more fractions, and we're going to divide some more rectangles. I will see you tomorrow. Bye, boys and girls.